Hello, everyone. This is James Hamphill with the Edgewood Impact Channel. I have a special guest today, Coach Matthew Bennett. He is the new head coach at 96 High School. Very excited about Coach Bennett. He comes in with great credentials. He came from Clinton High School, where he was offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. And previous to that, he was at Woodmont High School. And if Woodmont football was anything like Woodmont basketball, I know that was tough, disciplined, and ready to play. Seems to be a offensive guru. Clinton scored in 2022. Clinton averaged 46 points a game. Yes, 46 points a game. That's half 100. And the year before, in 21, Clinton scored 43 points a game. So somebody did something right, and I think a big part of that was Coach Bennett. So enough of me talking. Coach, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, sir.
I certainly appreciate the healthy introduction there. I've been very fortunate throughout my life. I'm born and raised Gaffney, South Carolina. That's where I'm from. It's where, I was a terrible football player, but I was around some really good ones and had some coaches that impacted me throughout my life, all the way from playing Little League baseball and everything else, all the way up through. And had great parents, still got great parents, some great grandparents. So certainly I work hard to try to make all those people proud because they poured in a lot to me. Got started coaching right out of high school. Started coaching at Ewing Middle School as one of Gaffney feeders. I did that for 5 years. Then jumped into high school ranks while I was finishing my degree for 2 years at Boiling Springs High School. Learned a lot of football from Travis Miller, who was our offensive coordinator there at the time. Now he's the head coach at Wade Hampton High School. Coach Miller has been a great offensive coordinator in this state for a long time. Now he's finally getting Wade Hampton going right. And, Coach Rick Tate hired me, and I'll always be thankful for him for that. And then I went to Westwood High School for a year. When I got my degree, I started teaching. I was at Westwood for a year with Dustin Curtis, who's the head coach at Lexington High School now.
Okay.
I was only there for a year. I like Coach Curtis a lot. We're still close. We'll still talk and all that good stuff. But I hated living in Columbia. So when the opportunity presented itself to go work for Coach Turner, Jet Turner at Woodmont, I jumped on it because it was a chance to get back towards the upstate and also a chance to go work. I mean, Coach Turner, he'll be a Hall of Famer as soon as he's eligible. The things he did at Ware Shoals and Clover and Broome, and then we turned the Woodmont. Well, he turned the Woodmont program around. We just helped him out best we could. I was there for 2 years. Kind of gave me the inside look at how to flip a program, the way he does things, and then had the opportunity after our second season at Woodmont to go work for Corey Fountain. When he got the job at Clinton, he hired me and to be the co-offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. And him, Coach Fountain, Coach Alexander, the AD, and he's coached about everything on offense, all different skill spots, but except for quarterbacks and offensive line. Coach Fountain's got a tight grip on them quarterbacks, and offensive line's kind of my deal. But Coach A will flip back and forth between running backs and receivers. Us three kind of were always together and always working on the offense, trying to gain any advantage we could. And the last 4 years at Clinton have been phenomenal. It was great for me and my wife. When we moved there, we were dating. We got engaged there. We got married while we were there. It's a special place, and we had a great 4 years there. And it was when we got there, the program had been on some hard times. And the first year we won more games than they had the previous year. The second year was the COVID year, but we kind of found ourselves in that COVID year a little bit. And then we were able, with a group of resilient youngins that did things the right way, able to manifest. I think somebody said the other day we were 24-3 in our last 27. I guess the math checks out because we were 11-2 and 13-1 in our last 2 years at Clinton. Scored a bunch of points, as you said. We were very fortunate there. We broke a bunch of records. Clinton does a great job of keeping up with their records. So this year, if you go to a Clinton game, the record books, when they print the program, you'll see a lot of records from last year and the year before that were broke and set by our players. And it was a cool thing to see. Clinton's a great place to be. It's a great place to be great. They love their football. Very similar to the community here at 96. And one of the things that kind of drew me to this job, a lot of guys that I think a lot of in the coaching profession, head coaches and guys who've been head coaches a long time and mentors to me, they've always said, don't take any job to be that first job. That first job, it needs to be the right job. And I think 96 is the right job.
Awesome. That's
told
great.
our kids the other day after we scrimmaged Broome, I said, this is what it's all about, playing hard for each other and having pride in where you're from. That was something Coach Fountain really emphasized at Clinton, because we didn't want kids to hang their heads when they had to tell people they were from Clinton. We wanted to build back that, because Clinton football was, Coach Richardson coined the phrase, the pride of Clinton. So we wanted Clinton football to get back to being the pride of Clinton. And now, I mean, some of those kids get it tattooed on their arm. I mean, they love where they're from, and I think that's a big thing. Being from Gaffney, Gaffney's very similar to that. 96 has a ton of community pride. We wanted to kind of reinstill that in the football program, and that's what I told them the other day after the scrimmage. I said, "There's not a better job in the state than the one that I got, because when you kids do things the right way, you set the bar for yourself. Nobody can take anything away from you."
That is awesome, Coach. Looking forward to seeing you guys play. Okay, let me ask you this, Coach. What is your coaching philosophy? What do we expect to see here in 96? Are we ready to implement what you do, or will it be a process? How will that work?
I think football, as far as on the field, when I interviewed for this job, they asked me what I thought a successful football program looked like. There's two kinds of success. There's short-term success. Short-term success are your wins, your region championships, your state championships. That's short-term, short-lived success. Long-term success is at their 10-year reunion when they come back. Are they good husbands? Are they good fathers? Are they good community members? Are they bringing positive things into the community in which they live? Have they moved off and done well for themselves, but still come back to visit because they love where they're from, and they're proud to be a 96 Wildcat? That's long-term success. As far as if the team, there's been an adjustment to the offense for sure, but the kids have jumped in. They love it. They either really love it or they're good liars, because they seem to really enjoy what we're doing. But it's just like anything else. Once they see it works, kids like to succeed. No kid comes out to play a sport and says, "I want to go out here and lose." Everybody's got a little natural drive where if you're going to do something, you want to win, you want to compete, you want to win.
Yes, sir.
The biggest adjustment that we've had, and the district's been great. They were very open, honest about it when they hired me. They said, we want somebody who can kind of help guide us along. Now, my AD, Coach Works, does a great job. Mr. Rice is very supportive of our principal. We got the best superintendent. Dr. Taylor does a phenomenal job. She's not a talker. She doesn't talk about doing things. She does things. We're not doing the we say we're going to do something and then put it on the back burner for 6 months. We're talking about it and then we're doing it. She's a doer. I really enjoy working for her. They wanted somebody to come in here and kind of get the year-round program instilled. We got all our kids in weights. We're working towards getting all of our athletes in weights. We got we got an overwhelming majority of them right now, and we're working through that process. But the year-round commitment to the weight room across athletics, not just for football. I've tried very hard to. Now, obviously, I'm going to be biased to football because that's what I got hired here to do.
Yes, sir.
But I've been trying to do things to help all of athletics, because I think if you go back and look at Clinton the last few years, Clinton's been pretty. I mean, just won the baseball state championship. We played in the upper state championship in football. Went to the third round in basketball. You know, the commitment to the weight room and the off-season development and the classroom, the tutoring programs, which we're starting here with the varsity and JV football programs. We're starting that here. We had it instilled at Clinton. It was athletic, the whole athletic department, all the way down to the middle school. We're baby stepping it that way here. You know, the total commitment to athletics across the board. I don't want to be at a place that just wants to be good in baseball, or just be good in football, or just be good in the band, or just be good in the drama department. I want to be good at everything.
Wonderful.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with having that mentality.
Great answer. Great answer. Okay. No, you haven't been here long, just learning the team, learning the area. What do you see right now as some of the strengths of the team that you saw thus far? Offense, defense, special teams, hustle players,
Well,
or just kids to buy in?
we've got the kids that I've got left. Now, we had to cull some couldn't get on the same page as what we see for the program. So there's some kids that are not playing right now, but we got some kids out that hadn't been playing. You know, I sent you the roster. I think there's 30 kids on that varsity roster.
Okay.
But the kids we've got, they're all the way in, and that's all we want. We don't want anybody with a foot hanging out of the boat. We want everybody all the way in. Once you get the right people on the bus, then you got to get them in the right seats. And I think our kids been bought into that. We've had some people move positions. We've had players volunteer to move positions. We've had just great team first mentality. Now I've had as with any time you go into a new job, I've had to sit a couple seniors down and kind of explain the law of the land to them. But they've bought into what I've been selling, and our staff's been working hard, putting a re-emphasization on special teams, because special teams is very important. I mean, part of the reason we won 13 games last year at Clinton is because I think we blocked 14 kicks, whether it be extra point, field goal, punt. I think we scored 9 special teams touchdowns. Off the top of my head, Coach Peyton Spangler did a great job with our special teams. I got Nick Long here. He's my assistant head coach. He coaches the receivers. He does special teams. Okay. He also helps me with recruiting. But I mean, one thing about here that I really like, and it fits perfectly into the offense is it's an easy transition. When we looked around at Clinton, we said, man, we have a ton of running backs. Well, when we got here, I looked around and I said, my God, it's the same deal. We got a bunch of running backs. But when you got a bunch of running backs, you can do what we do and be successful. But the good thing about our offense that people who've played us understand, but everybody doesn't understand until they really get to looking at it, is our offense is very versatile. So we're doing some things differently because of a kid like Braden Mitchell who can really spin it. So we're looking at some different things in the passing game. We're going to run the football because that's what I believe in, and you know, I think there's a lot of merit in time of possession and you know, being able to run the football whenever you want to. It's a big thing. But being able to, we're good enough in the quarterback and receiver positions to make people play us honest. So I'm really looking forward to see what it's going to look like.
Awesome. Great answer. How do you balance the classroom with the field? What I mean by that, Coach, is a lot of kids want to come out there and play, and, you know, that's what a kid does.
Oh, yeah.
But some kids don't understand how important the classroom is. How do you balance that?
Well, one thing is you got to be and I found this as a football coach, whether I was a position coach, whether I was coordinating, whether I was the head coach now, one thing that you've got to be in leadership positions, I believe, is consistent.
Yeah.
So I told those kids in the spring I would check grades because they
Mm.
got me on power school and everything when I got hired.
Mm.
And I would check grades. And I told those guys, I said, look, you need to get your grades up before the end of spring football. I said, because when the fall semester starts, you're going to have mandatory tutoring if your grades are below a 70.
Awesome.
Which below
Awesome.
a 70 means you have a D or an F. So
yeah.
We did our first round of grade checks this week. I think between the varsity and JV, I think we got 5 kids total in tutoring tomorrow. And
Okay.
that's going to be mandatory. Now, if they don't
Okay.
go, then they won't miss but one time. I can assure you that.
Good answer.
Because we
Good
did
answer.
the same thing. We did the same thing at Clinton. We're very serious about grades, and they're figuring that out.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. Now, Woodmont was a 5A powerhouse school. Clinton's 3A. 96, last I checked, was 2A. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. One of the smaller 2As we are.
Yeah, almost 1A. The reason why I said that's because at Woodmont, you kind of had the choice. You have so many kids that goes there that comes out and play football. Clinton, you have more kids, bigger school. 96, not as many. How does that affect you as far as coaching? Not having the amount of kids you may have at Woodmont or a place like Clinton. How does that affect you?
Well, the thing is, the reality of the situation is, when we went to Woodmont, when Coach Turner took that thing over, that was not a great job in 5A. Bunch of kids, but not necessarily a lot of kids you wanted in your program at that time. So we ended up playing, and Coach Dockel, who's our strength coach here at 96 now, we work together at Woodmont. He could probably pull up the roster and give you an exact number, but I want to say we were playing 5A football dressing 36 players.
Mm.
We beat Westside dressing 36. We or 35 or 36. We played T.L. Hanna for the region championship with 35 or 36 in 5A.
Mm.
So
That's
between
impressive.
that and Coach Turner does a great job. Between that and at Clinton, Clinton's one of the smallest 3As. So we were rolling around 750, 800 kids, and we were playing schools with 1,100.
Mm.
We were already used to playing kids both ways. You go back and look at that team last year at Clinton, Mr. Football finalist Bryson James, he was our starting B-back, had 1,500 yards rushing. I think he had 29 touchdowns. But he also played outside line. Yeah, he played outside linebacker, and he either led the team in tackles or was second, or he was top 3. He was top 3 in tackles and led the team in rushing yards. He blocked a bunch of kicks. He never come off the field. We had a bunch of kids that played both ways. One of my starting offensive linemen started on the defensive line, Jay Martin. He's playing at Erskine right now.
Awesome.
So we're never going to be in a position where we just play kids one way. You're going to practice both sides of the ball, and we'll fit you in where you fit in. But everybody's we're going to have a lot of 2-way starters, but we did the same thing at Clinton. I mean, it's the same formula. We did the same thing at Woodmont. I mean, our best tight end, our two best offensive linemen, that was 3 of our 4 starters on the defensive line at Woodmont that second year.
I guess you made it work. Now, this Friday, you're playing at Greenwood, which is Greenwood's a 4A school.
Yep.
I know it's a jamboree. How do you balance wanting to try to go and have a good showing and getting that win with keeping everybody healthy?
Well, the thing I tell the kids, the easiest way to get hurt in football is play like you're scared of getting hurt. Because as soon as you start taking a little bit off because you're worried about getting injured, that's when the injuries happen, because you're not. This game's meant to be played full tilt, as hard as you can go, as long as you can go. Then I tell them, be honest with me. If you're too tired to give us great effort, tell me. I'll get you off the field, because we got a bunch of guys playing both ways, and We want to keep the bodies out there that can do things the right way. We'll get you water, get you back in the game. We're gonna go out there Friday night and we're gonna give it the best effort we can. Okay.
Awesome.
We're treating it like a game. That's the good thing about having a jamboree before week 0, even though you're just playing a half. We get a chance. We'll have a regular pregame walkthrough Thursday. We're treating it as a game week, as we've structured practice the same way it's going to be structured the rest of the year, to kind of get the kids and everybody used to, all right, this is kind of what Monday practice looks like. This is what Tuesday, Wednesday, so on. But we're not going to go out there and play. We're not going to go out there and show our entire hand, because Emerald will be there and we play them week 0. But I expect Emerald to do the same thing. Emerald's not going to go out there and show everything they got first game, but we're going to go out there and look to do our stuff the way we want it done, and I tell them all the time, wins and losses take care of themselves. Go out there and do your job. If we get 11 guys doing their job, we'll be in an okay spot at the end of that thing. The other night, an impromptu thrown together scrimmage against Broome. Broome's a heck of a football team. Got a 4-star running back. He's a stud, McGill kid. He's unbelievable. We went out there and had a good physical scrimmage with Broome.
Awesome.
And we had to put some backups in the game. They did too. They had kids coming up, cramp here, rolled ankle here, but you just can't let it slow you down. You got to next man up, play the game. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Coach, I appreciate all the time. A couple more questions, I promise. I know I told you 15 minutes. It's already 22 minutes. A couple more questions and I'll be done. I promise.
You're fine.
I love the conversation. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Big Bad Abbeville. Been kind of running roughshod in this region for the last few years. We seem to get them last most of the time on the schedule. Anything special for Abbeville?
Yep. Abbeville right now, the most important game on our schedule is Emerald, because it's the next one.
Great question. Great answer. Great answer. Great answer. I'll give you that. Great answer. Great answer.
When I interviewed for this job, I didn't even let anybody bring Abbeville up. In one of the first few questions, I said, look, there's no sense in trying to run from the big bad bully because you're married to them. If we go down to 1A, they're coming with us. If we stay 2A, they're staying up with us. We're geographically married to them. I said, so I look at it as when we got to Clinton. When we got to Clinton, Union was beating them pretty regularly, pretty handily.
Okay.
And it took, the first year they got us all right. Second year we closed the gap. Third year we beat them. Fourth year we beat them. But it wasn't just Union. There were some other teams that had kind of had their way with Clinton over the last several years. Some of them a decade or more. But it's not about who you're playing. It's about what you're doing and how you're doing it. If we get a little better every day, if we just don't come out and take any losses, that means we don't come out and get worse, because you're not going to stay the same. You're getting better, you get worse every single day.
Yes, sir.
If we stack good days and stack good days and stack good days, we'll start taking bites out of that elephant. That's what That's what a team like Abbeville gives you. That it's I talked to Coach Nichols this morning, and they're a great program.
Yeah.
But they you can't run away from them. You get our team slogans: run to work. Don't run away from the work. Run towards it. So we'll attack Abbeville week 10 the same way we're going to try to attack Emerald week 0. It's the most important game is the next one.
Love that answer. Great answer. But I had to ask the question, Coach. Last question for you, Coach, if you don't mind. Tell us about QB1.
Braden Mitchell. Braden has been a dream to come in. I got really excited the first time I watched his film when I
Mm,
applied for this job, and I thought about the different things we could do with him. He is he's as advertised. He throws a pretty ball, understands the game better than your average high school quarterback.
mm,
Really good runner, great teammate. The kids listen. He controls the huddle.
good.
Um, countless times throughout the summer, if we didn't break the huddle the right way, he'd bring them back and
Mm,
do it again. I mean, he's a leader. He don't say a whole lot, but when he
mm,
does, he gets their attention.
mm,
Um, I personally would, if I could wish for anything for any of my friends that get their first head coaching job, I hope they walk into a quarterback like Braden Mitchell, because he's everything you
mm.
want and more. Just a fantastic young man, great family, and he's all in. He's all in. He wants to play at the next level, but he's not
Mm.
worried about any of that right now. He's worried about 96, and that's
Wow.
what you got to have.
That's awesome. Okay, I promise, Coach. Last question. Give me a defensive standout. Then I'll let you go. I promise. Give me a defensive standout so far.
A defensive standout. Well, the other night against Broome, there were several.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. We honestly, we've got, there's some dang good players on our defense. To name just one would be slighting a bunch of them.
Awesome.
Probably the
Okay.
one that I think's the most versatile, Jaden Hackett at outside linebacker. He's very versatile. He can drop into coverage. He'll come up and make a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Jade's been another. He's been a good senior for us. I like watching Hackett play. He plays some tight end for us on offense as well. Um, but I mean, I could name you a list of guys that have showed up and played really well in recent days. You know, we moved
Okay.
Caden Payne to inside linebacker. He's just a sophomore. He reminds me so much of Bryson James. I've almost called him Bryson several times at practice. That's as high a praise as I can give you, because he reminds me. Bryson's the best football player I've ever coached, and he
Wow.
reminds me of a sophomore Bryson James a lot.
Okay. Wow. Great answer, Coach. You know what? I really appreciate the time. Hopefully, I can catch up with you once a week at some point during the season. Make it a weekly thing for us. I
Yeah,
hope so. I love the conversation, and I will be
that'd
there
be
Friday,
fine.
sir.
I said that'd be fine with me. I got a weekly the radio station's got me doing a weekly 15-minute pregame coaches show. I mean, yeah, I got weekly appointments. So if you want to get in on that, you just let me know and I make some time. We do anything we can. Anytime I can talk about our kids, I'll do it.
Wonderful, wonderful answer, Coach. I appreciate the time. I will be emailing you, and thank you so much. Good luck Friday
I
and the
pre-
season.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, take care, Coach.
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.